Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, and it has been a hot minute since I posted anything onto this channel, so for those of you who are still subbed to me, I appreciate it. I've got more content coming. I want to do a little bit of a channel update today, tell you what's been going on. I did end up winning a PQ, I ended up going to Galactics, and I wanted to share my experience about all of that. I also want to talk about what I played at Galactics, and more importantly, I want to tell you about the things about Star Wars Unlimited I was dead wrong about, and I'm man enough to admit it, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Like I said, it's been a hot minute since I posted in the channel, and partly is whenever they first started talking about Galactics and they started talking about the prizing, I thought the prizing was not good. I was very vocal about it. I was pretty disappointed when I saw the prize wall, and I was like, you know, I'm enjoying this game. I like the community. I like all the things about it, but I didn't really feel like I wanted to spend a bunch of money flying out to Vegas, going to Galactics to play for these prize wall items. I couldn't sell myself on it. And I was like, yeah, I don't really feel like going. So I decided not to go. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to just treat a PQ close to me like that's my Galactic Championship. So I started working really hard to get ready for a PQ in Atlanta. And mentally, I'm like, I'm not going to Vegas. This is my championship for this season or whatever. And so I just went into it like that. I started playing Raid Data Vault really, really hard. And I ended up winning that tournament. It was 105 people. I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt that I won my PQ. I guess this is my Lucky Star Wars shirt. But I won that tournament. The picture, I looked terrible. The AC ran out that day. It felt like 100 degrees and people were having heat problems, me included. And, but I ended up grinding through, took that win, which winning anything in the Atlanta market is really tough. You've got a lot of very good players. There's a million Bothans that show up. Always a pleasure to play those guys, but they are very good. So I was very excited and happy that I won that. And then once I won this, I'm like, dang, I've got a day one buy. I guess I need to go to Vegas. So I took some of the prizes that I won there, sold it, was able to get a cheap flight. So I went to Vegas. And let's talk about why I was wrong. I mistakenly thought there was no value on the prize wall. Like, I knew, yes, sure, you know, the showcases that you can get there are going to be worth something. But then I thought, so many people are going to be grinding for it. So many people are going for it. I just didn't feel like I wanted to spend my entire week, like, grinding these tickets to try to get these two cards. It just didn't sound fun to me. So I went out there day one, played in a couple of side events, took a long time because of the line problems, which other people have talked about in ad nauseum. But I got to give it to FFG. They did fix it after lunch. So I ended up playing in a couple. I ended up winning a couple with the deck that I took, which was Hantu Blue. We'll talk more about that in a second. And I was the first person to turn in tickets to win anything on the prize wall. I got my my Mace mat. And I ended up getting a full play set of the Mace Windows. And this was what I set out to do. Like, I was like, I want to go have fun, and I want this mat. I want a play set of these Mace Windows because I think it's a very awesome card. I love the art. I think it's going to be playable for the entire time that these cards are in rotation. So this was my goal, and I had accomplished that before lunch. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So the rest of that, I just kind of played the different things. And where I was wrong was coming into day two, I had collected silver packs, I had collected some other things, and I was able to sell all of that for over $1,000. So I paid for my entire trip plus some going into day two, which at this point I'm like, okay, I was wrong. There's a lot of money to be made on this prize wall, and I wasn't even grinding it that hard. I was just kind of like playing a couple here and there, having fun, hanging out with people. So I know a lot of people probably did a lot better than I did. In fact, a buddy of mine, Quentin, I think made a little over $2,000 on his. So I was wrong. So all the complaining I had done, I was very vocal about. I didn't think the prizing was that good. I guess prizing can always be better. I think where I was coming from was I grew up playing Magic. I mean, like, I started playing Magic a year after it came out because I'm old. I started playing in 96, and when the Pro Tour and everything started coming around, it was like cash prizing. So I was expecting that. The whole idea of a prize wall was really foreign to me whenever I saw that other games had started doing that. I didn't realize how much money people would pay for this type of stuff. So I was wrong on that. So let's go in to what I played on day 2. So going into day 2, day 1 went great. Get into day 2. And I had been playing Hantu Blue like everybody else. Shout out to Alex over at Late Night Gaming. I had hooked up with him online, and he and I were jamming games, constantly sharing notes, texting constantly. Probably played 700 or so playtest games. I did. I know he played over 1,000. This was the list that he and I think maybe we're 3 cards apart, but this is what we settled on. I was right about a lot of things in the list. There were things I was wrong about the list. I'll probably make a Hantu Blue video later because there are some updates. Quick spoiler alert. I think Owen should have been in the list. I had playtested him, took him in and out. Owen should have been in the list. And the Forces With Me should have been in the list. Those were 2 cards that performed really well when I saw other people playing them. And I think those cards should have been included. Ogdo Bogdo did okay. There are situations he's very good. There are situations he's not. I ran into a lot of Tarkentown, beat some, didn't beat others. Ogdo Bogdo's kind of tough into that matchup. Overall, my goal was to go and prove that I could still like hang with the big boys and I could still be competitive and do all the things. And I did. I went pretty far into day 2, ended up getting eliminated. Was totally happy, totally fine. I had won enough that day to sell and make money and do all the things. So I was happy and had a good time. And that brings me to what I think was the thing that I missed about going into the Galactics. Like, I was thinking about the tournament, I was thinking about the prizes, and that was my focus on whether or not this was worth it. And what I didn't think about was the experience itself. And I'm a big proponent of going to this next year if I get the opportunity, because you're basically going to Star Wars camp. So if you didn't get to go, you should absolutely try to go next year. And those of you that did go will know what I'm talking about. There were a lot of things about the Galactics that I think FFG did extremely right. There were some things that they're going to learn from, obviously, the prize wall on the line and all the things. There were just more people there than I think maybe they initially thought. But overall, I think they did a really good job shifting some things around. So let's talk about what I call the highlight of the trip, and it's community. So Saturday night, get done playing, I'm leaving the Venetian. I run into some of the Bothan Network guys, and they're heading to Treasure Island. They invite me with them. I ended up hanging out with those guys that night, taught them how to play craps, taught some others how to play blackjack. I've been playing in casinos for a very long time, so I was kind of the veteran, and I had so much fun hanging out with them that night. And then the next day, going into day 3, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just going to go show up and pick up some prize tickets, things that I had won from the day before. And I was honestly thinking about leaving and maybe going playing poker or just doing Vegas things. I decided to stay and just hang out with the Bothan Network guys and whoever else was hanging out. And I got to see and talk to the KTOD guys. I got to talk to Tower Number 9. I ran into him earlier, someone I had been talking to online for almost a year. And it was great to finally see some of these people. And the first picture you see over here on the left, this is one of the matches I got to watch. The amount of skill at that table right there, you've got, 2 of the Bothan guys. You've got Ian over there playing the secret Kylo Tech deck against Sip, who those are probably 2 of the best players in the world. And then you've got Wu playing against Junior, and that Quinlan match was unbelievably close. And just being able to sit there and watch that, ton of fun. But again, the highlight of the trip for me was experiencing the SWU community. Like I said earlier, I grew up in the Magic community. These are 2 different animals. Without bashing one or the other, it's a better community for SWU from a very, very large margin. I just felt that everyone was super nice. Everyone was, it was cool to be able to sit down at a table, play with people from other countries, and maybe there was a language barrier, but there literally wasn't because we're kind of playing the same game, and I thought that was really cool. But also just being able to meet a lot of the content creators, having people recognize me, which was kind of crazy. That was a weird experience because I hadn't made content in so long, was really cool. And I really felt throughout the entire day the piece that I had missed about not wanting to come to Galactics. One, I was totally wrong about the pricing. And two, I overlooked the importance of going and hanging out with the community. And when it came to seeing the community, I don't think how to say this correctly, I felt that the best representation of the community from my experience was hanging out with the Bothan guys that day, because seeing how they cheered for each other, seeing how they were a team, hearing how they had tested and come up with the deck and everything was super cool. And then I looked over, man, and I could see some of the Enigma guys huddled up, talking about the matches and doing all the same. And I was like, man, this is really cool. You know, just how these teams come together and build and have this little inner community inside the community. I thought it was really, really cool. And I was very fortunate to get to hang out with them the entire day. And the other picture we can show over here is the first guy over here is Quentin in the black shirt. He is one of my Greenville buddies. So those three guys right there, that's the Greenville, South Carolina crew that was playing on day 2. That's Quentin, it's Phil from Bothan Network, and then there's me. Again, blue shirt. It's my favorite lucky blue shirt. I guess I'm always wearing this blue shirt at SWU events. So that was us hanging out that day for day 2. So my wrap up for Galactics was prizes were better than I thought. Could they be better? Of course. I think FFG did a lot right. There's a few things they tripped up on. I think that they're going to, fix that for next year. I still think Josh from Next Gen Gaming should have been one of the announcers, not to take anything away from the people that were running it. I just think Josh would have been amazing. So I shared that with some of the people at FFG. I do think they're going to do something about force throw. I did talk to a lot of the developers about it. They are aware that it's a problem. The way that they articulated it to me as I was talking to it, they are very in the know about how that affects the meta in different ways. So I do think we're going to see something eventually come out. I do respect that they're data driven and they wanted to kind of see how it affected. But I think as more results come out, and the thing that we kept talking about when I talked to the developers on the force throw issue was that it was a feels bad card. And, me personally, I lost a couple of matches because of getting double force throw, which is a very common story. And it just doesn't feel good. And I think they're going to make a change. I would be surprised if they don't at this point. I think it's just a matter of time. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to be making more videos. I'll be doing deck techs and things like that as we kind of move forward. Reporting on some of our Pro Tour qualifiers, Magic Days, some planetary qualifiers, and going from there. So if you like this kind of content, like, subscribe to the channel, do all the things. Until next time, let's keep rolling. Talk to you later. Bye.